Is there any good story to tell with the country's 23 years of democracy? What will it take for political freedom to translate into economic freedom? Will opposition parties ever win this motion of no confidence against President Zuma? Is the country run by the judiciary? What time is it? It's question time. Hello and welcome to the show. Khotso. My name is Mpho Tsedu. Many men and women made huge sacrifices and even paid the ultimate price in the struggle for liberation, which is today celebrated as Freedom Day. The African National Congress, the Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania, the Azanian People's Organization, and the Black Consciousness Movement in general, and ordinary citizens all contributed to a free, democratic and non-sexist society. Addressing the main event of Freedom Day in Manguzi KwaZulu-Natal today, President Jacob Zuma explained how radical economic transformation can help accelerate the pace towards achieving economic emancipation. He also paid tribute to the fallen PAC stalwart Phillip Ata Kgosana. The theme for today's event is the year of OR Tambo, together deepening democracy and building safer and crime-free communities. Meanwhile, newly formulated People's Movement and members of the public held a rally in Pretoria earlier today for what they say is an effort to reclaim freedom. We are live, therefore you can call us and air your views. The numbers to dial 089-1104210, our Twitter handle at QuestionTime24. My guest today, Dali Mpofu, he's the EFF National Chairperson, and Makashule Gana is a DA leader and member of the provincial legislature here in Gauteng. But before we get into the discussion, let's have a look at what President Zuma had to say earlier today.
We have achieved political freedom, but economic freedom still remains largely elusive. It is for this reason that we speak about radical economic transformation. Let me reiterate that by radical economic transformation, we mean fundamental change in the structure, systems, institutions, and patterns of ownership, management, and control of the economy.
Well, that's the president speaking earlier today in KZN. Gentlemen, let me welcome you. Dadimbof, listening to the president, the EFF may as well, convene a disbanding conference. Radical economic transformation, umhlaba wethu mawubuye. What more do you want?
No, thank you very much. You see, there's a difference between wanting economic freedom and just talking and passing hot air about it. The reality of the matter is that current policy of the ANC is the so-called willing buyer, willing seller principle, which since 2005 the ANC itself recognized is not working. But until today, they have not replaced it. You'll also remember that then Minister of Minerals, Susan Shabangu, about 3 years ago said that nationalization of mines would happen over her dead body. Now, an organization that does not want to return the land, that rejected the EFF's offer of the 6%, that says nationalization will happen over its dead body, can't in the same mouth talk about radical economic transformation. It's just absolute nonsense. There is no ways that the ANC, as it currently stands, at best for them, they must say maybe this is what they want to propose for their next conference. But as it stands now, their policy is based on the neoliberal NDP, which is meant to attract investment and all those nice things.
I would have thought today, Freedom Day, the DA would have been part of the Manguzi rally or event, but instead you hosting your own rally, calling on the president to go?
Yeah, Nompo, and good evening to your viewers. We no longer recognize Jacob Zuma as the rightful president of this country, so it doesn't make sense for us to go and be part of his noise-making exercises somewhere in KZN. So we convened a freedom movement that was supported by civil society movement, other political parties, so that we can, together as South Africans, say that we need to reclaim our freedom. You know, this freedom was not fought for the benefit of one man or one family. It was for the benefit of all South Africans. And, you know, people sometimes, they say, you know, we earned or won freedom in '94, so why are you still talking about this thing? You know, freedom is something that if we are not careful, if we are not paying attention, there can come people who want to take that freedom away. So as a generation, as the people of today, we must continue fighting, because earning freedom doesn't mean that it will be here permanently. So when you have people like Jacob Zuma who continuously abuse the very same freedoms that our forefathers and our grandparents fought for, then we must stand up to say they are not the rightful people to be standing on that platform and say everyone must be happy that he's the president of this country. We as the DA and other organizations were clear. Jacob Zuma does not deserve to be the president. So it wouldn't have made any sense for us to be part of that exercise that he did in Kanyakude.
Felix, you are in Nelspruit.
Thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome.
Oh yes, I just wanted to reiterate that for any man to run a country successfully, he needs a document. The document called a constitution. So if somebody has been declared not to respect, uphold, and defend that constitution, technically speaking, that person cannot be the president of that country. It's not possible. So we are in a state of constitutional crisis as it is now, because Jacob Zuma is no longer, and I'm repeating it, he's no longer the president of this country. It's just that people still refer to him as president, and he still parades himself as such. So until we get that right, we cannot talk of freedom. Freedom has to do with our constitution. Thank you.
All righty. Thanks, Felix. How then do we move from this political freedom that we have into what the ANC had called the second phase of the struggle? Yeah.
No, look, firstly, don't get us wrong. We recognize very much the importance of the political freedom that we attained in 1994. You know, without it, and we recognize it because some of us participated in bringing about that political freedom. Secondly, you know, without it, you know, opponents of the current governments could have been killed. Some of us might not be alive, who could have been arrested. Yeah. And thirdly, and more importantly, it creates space for a peaceful struggle for economic freedom. So it's very important. But what we say is that there is no way that you can celebrate abundantly this political freedom until you have attained economic freedom, until the land has been returned. It's like, if I can say, it's like if you are running a marathon, you can, you know, celebrate the fact that at halfway you are still leading. But the real achievement is when you have come to the second lap, so to speak. And so the second lap is much more important. We're not undermining the fact that you still have to run the first lap. But the real aim of our economic struggle has never been just to vote every 5 years. It has always been to reclaim our land, to reclaim our dignity, and to ensure that there is equality in this country.
Kagiso, you are in Blepalale?
Yeah, you know, the unfortunate part of it, Nempo.
Yes.
The very same people who are going to be upholding the Constitution are the ones who are supporting the white monopoly. It's a pity that today we are hearing the opposition saying that they want to remove Jacob Zuma as the president of the country. The unfortunate part of it is that the president was elected democratically so. So where do the opposition gain powers to remove the president of the country? The very same people who never voted him in as the president of the country, how can they remove the president Zuma? Thank you.
Thanks very much. Well, actually, you've been part of some attempts in the past to to get the president out of office when you were still a member of the National Assembly there. So, indeed, the ANC is the one that elected Jacob Zuma as president. So, why should we really listen to the DA and the EFF and anybody else who says Zuma must go, when in fact the ANC has said no, Zuma is not going?
No, your first caller, Felix, spoke of the Constitution.
Yeah.
Jacob Zuma was elected in that position by Parliament. He was elected to be the president of the country by Parliament. And now we are asking Parliament to remove him. We are constitution-loving people. We don't want to do something that's outside the Constitution. That's why we are taking it to Parliament, because he was elected in Parliament, so Parliament will remove him. So if, for some reason, if all the ANC people decide that they still want him as the president, not only are we going to remove what Jacob Zuma represents in 2019, we are going to remove the ANC as well. So if they say what Jacob Zuma represents them as well, then that very same thing that Jacob Zuma represents is not what's needed in this country. Because for us to move to where people are, we talk of ensuring that there's economic freedom, people are able to live the kind of life that they desire. We need a leadership that's committed to that cause. This particular leadership is committed in looting the coffers of the state, taking the very same money that's supposed to assist the people on the ground to be able to make ends meet and improve their livelihood. So what Jacob Zuma represents is what's not needed in this country. And if members of the ANC says they are better represented by Jacob Zuma, then they've got something coming for them in 2019. Not only are we going to remove that, we're also going to remove the ANC. But that does not mean that if they vote with us to remove Jacob Zuma, in 2019 we won't remove them. We'll still remove them.
Okay, Fana, you are in the Free State. Welcome. Ndade? Nzarepela, ndadu phela ywa?
Ke phetse mongaka.
Ngana.
O re mbaka mo ba IFF le TT. Majority of South Africa ke bona ba voting ANC into power. So mona yo a di ya bolelang hore na come 2019 ba tlotlo sa ANC. The satswa di kgetho no tsana is about 2 years. Ba ile ba hloya ho win a kgetho. Ye ba skala ba police ANC this police ANC that. Ke mbona ba ka etsang ile mbetere for this country. Afkana ba sheving Jacob Zuma got to now. Hotota e batla ne ba ANC. Ha ba bolele ka ba le organise ba le se lo ka ANC. Wa majority of South Africa ke bona ba ile ANC and I say ba 100,000 ba mashamba re Zuma must fall. It's about 10,000 people, 10,000 million ba voted 10 million people ba voted ANC into power. Okay. I say 100 people here about DA go EFF ba re batla to sa Zuma.
Dadefan, let me give you time to respond before we go to an ad break.
Yes. Okay. Well, you see what Fana is saying represents what I call ANC denialism, which is a very dangerous thing in politics. Because you can't say that those parties that marched represent the 100,000 people that you saw there in Pretoria. Those parties actually represent 7 million voters. But obviously, you can't have all those 7 million voters
on the
marching there, yeah. But secondly, you know, ANC denialism, you can't the ANC talks about self-correction. How do you self-correct when you can't even admit the sickness that you have? For example, they go about saying that they lost 3 metros in the last election. They actually lost 5 metros. Ekurhuleni, Johannesburg, Tshwane, Cape Town, and Nelson Mandela Bay. Yeah. So, you know, if you can't even diagnose yourself, then you're going to be saying things like what this gentleman is saying. The reality is that they were saying the same things in those metros that I spoke about in August. And the majority of the people in those places did not vote for the ANC. The majority of the people in Gauteng, which is the strongest province with the biggest population, did not vote for the ANC. Okay. So if I was them, I would be worried. I wouldn't say there's no problem, because that's the biggest road to disaster.
Okay, Prince, you are in Deep Kloof. Welcome.
re teng ke batla o tla o ntate ba ntse ba re ba batla
Awa ya banna. Peter happened that the 08911042110 is the number to dial, and we're talking about Freedom Day, and indeed, in the midst of the debate or the discussion, the rights of the ANC to exist with its leader. 08911042110. But you could hear that the gentleman in Diepkloof was saying, already you can hear that the direction there to say, but you guys, no, you can't do that. We put the president there. He's our president. Leave him. If you want to remove him, do that in 2019.
Like Dali said, when people deny and they refuse to see what's in front of them, then we cannot be held responsible when it actually happens. Because whether people want to accept it as a fact or not, the numbers don't lie. The ANC is going down. The ANC is going down from within. They are eating each other. They are beating each other from within. The test of everything, it's election time. Mm-hmm. Last year, they tasted what it feels like to be beaten. That was just trial. The real beating is coming in 2019. That's where they are going to feel what it's like to be out of municipalities, to be out of province, and possibly out of national. Yeah. That's where the fight will get more, and they'll become like a part of Kwame Nkrumah. They will die.
Yeah. Can I just add, you know, of course, these gentlemen who are phoning, they don't have to listen to us, who are the opposition. If they don't want to listen to our warning, they must listen to what Kgalema Motlanthe, the former deputy president of the ANC, said last week on BBC, which is that if the ANC does not do anything, it's going to lose 2019. Motlanthe went on to say he himself is not sure if he will vote for the ANC in 2019. So don't listen to us, listen to your own stalwarts, listen to your own veterans who are saying you are going down. Because we are the opposition, maybe we're just talking. But if you don't want to listen to your own people, then you'll wallow in denialism and you'll be swelling the opposition ranks very soon.
I want to take us back a bit to Freedom Day. Yeah. 23 years, the EFF is adamant that when they take over, for instance, the stem is falling away. Yes. We're remaining with Enoch Sontonga's Nkosi Sikelel. Now, this is part of the magic that led to 1994. What happens to the Van Tonders and the Van Heerdens?
No, the Van Tonders and Van Heerdens are part of South Africa. You must remember, we've said this repeatedly, that when we're saying we will not sing the stem, which we refuse to do, we will never do, it's got nothing to do with the language Afrikaans. Afrikaans is part of South Africa. Yeah. The point of the matter is that the stem is a song that was used by the SADF when they were killing our people. When it says ons land, van ons land, it doesn't mean ons, you and me. It's that ons there meant for the white people. And you cannot reduce a glorious song like Nkosi Sikelel Africa, which says Nkosi Sikelel Africa, the whole continent, into one little piece of Africa, South Africa. So when that song starts to say South Africa, it's gone. It's a sellout of what Sontonga meant, because he was he put that song up for a united Africa, for the whole continent, and we believe in Pan-Africanism.
Okay, let's take Keith. Keith, you are in Zanin.
Hello.
Yes, Keith.
Hello. Legai.
Ronald guy.
Rona man.
Hey.
Hey, rola listi for mo Bismarck squirrel.
Oh, okay.
No, but our EFF tell 2 for 2019. EFF tell 2.
Okay, I thought he had a question. That's fine. But I think one of the challenging aspects of our democracy is reconciliation in South Africa. And in as much as the DA has tried, I mean, you have sang together and, you know, kissed each other in public and all that, there's a problem.
we will continue to sing together. We'll never get tired to sing together. We'll never get tired to stand together. Because if we don't, if we get tired, then it means the project itself collapses as a whole. So the incidences that are happening, you know what they tell us is that there's still a role for us to play in society. Because if everything is reconciled, everyone is living beautifully, then there's no role for us. Now, with this, whatever racial or tribal differences, because this is not only racial, it even goes to tribal. Me and you know what's happening there in Malamlele Vuan. It's not racial, it's tribal. So not only do we have to defeat racism in this country, we have to defeat tribalism. You know, this country belongs to all of us. Okay. We must find a way to live side by side together, sing the same song, the song of South Africa being prosperous, the song of South Africa claiming its rightful place amongst the leading nations in the world.
Tambo, you are in Rustenburg.
Yeah, nothing that we want. Ragrata horabo reba, but the impufulin tatwa di. Baske batswenya. Zuma se zevela kwa KwaZulu-Natal. Khasuri kharibu ne rile Batswana, rile Mapedi, rile merafi mengwe. O tla tshamekela fela kwa KwaZulu-Natal kwana. South Africa e ke a rona yi. Ena tshamekele fela kwa ke go teng kwa ta khona nteng. Ke a leboga.
Tabo there. Well, Tabo calling us from Rustenburg saying, well, the president will play in KZN. That's where he belongs. It's not like we, the Botswana and vendors, are not aware of what is happening. We're actually watching. But yeah, I guess that's another thing. This is the year of O.R. Tambo, Delimpov. Yes. Look, it's a sad thing that the ANC has put this year as the year of unity and of O.R. Tambo. Because O.R. Tambo was a real unifier. And I mean, it's a joke for this ANC to be telling us about unity when the deputy president is attacking the president, the SACP says Zuma must go, the Women's League says Zuma must stay, and the Women's League says you must arrest Ramaphosa. So much for the year of unity. I mean, it's a joke. But the point of the matter is that that last caller, you know, we can criticize the ANC, but we must give credit where it's due. The ANC, if there's one achievement that it has brought into this country, it was to defeat the demon of tribalism. And since 1912, to say Africans must fight as one thing. That was great, well done, until 1994. But now that the struggle is about economic freedom, we say thank you very much. They must get out of the way. They have failed in 23 years. And we need to find other vehicles to take us to the promised land. The ANC has failed dismally. It is chowing the money. It is committing crime on a daily basis. The so-called nuclear deals, which was mercifully done away with yesterday. And scandal after scandal on a daily basis. Look, Mpo, even if it was a soccer club that you like, if it's always bickering, you must understand that, look, I must go and find another one. This thing is not going to get me anywhere. So the ANC is finished. There's no such thing as the ANC. The ANC died a long time ago. It's just that it was a strong organization and we still believe that it is there. It doesn't exist. What is the ANC? Who is the ANC? Is it Gwede? Is it Zuma? Is it Ramaphosa? Is it Batabile? There's no such thing. O.R. Tambo says, Nankashule, we seek to create a united, democratic and non-racial society. Liberation movements suffer a lot 20 years into their reigns. We've seen it happening all over. In Zimbabwe, the Guguraundi story has not necessarily died. In South Africa, apartheid has not necessarily died.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest fail of liberation parties, and many people had hoped that the ANC will not succumb to the very same temptations of what's happening or what happened in the north, to the north of the country. But you see, when there's money and then you start having the politics of money, then people are even willing to sell the entire country. You know, people want us to go back to what Rhodesia was. I mean, Rhodesia used to be a private entity of Cecil John Rhodes. So we have a president now that wants to sell the entire country to the Guptas and to the Russians. And we are saying, South Africans, the time for you to stand up has arrived. You know, Dalut mentioned that what the ANC did in the past, uniting people. The ANC is again uniting people. But this time, the ANC is uniting people against itself.
Okay,
the people are united and will not be defeated by this ANC.
We have run out of time, unfortunately. But yeah, that was question time for today. A big thank you to my guest and to you for watching the show. From me and the entire crew.